episode 111 of the Shower Party podcast. I'm doing it from the car. All my friends were either out of town or unavailable, so now it's just me in a car. I thought, what's the best point in time that I'm thinking clearly and the most funny? And I said, what's the place I spend 90% of my time anyway? Oh, the car. Yeah, I'll just do a podcast from the car where everybody can see me hold a microphone to my mouth and be dumb as shit. Thankfully, the camera does look like I'm just looking at directions until I get stuck in traffic and some dude just looks at my fat fucking face over on the right-hand side and just talking to myself. I have to, hide the microphone from the public view. This is the Olympic podcasting. Just me We're going to see how good of a driver I really am. The Olympic level of podcasting. Let's see if you can drive and obey all road laws while talking about poop and cum and shit like that. This is how the Olympics are going to be in 2035. Just white guys in cars getting coffee. This is just as Jerry Seinfeld intended it. Red lights are going to be rough. That's going to be the most insecure and and not be laughing or talking at all. It does kind of look like maybe I have like a old car and I'm just talking to a microphone as my Bluetooth. I don't know. This is also the equivalent of like when an Indian kid brings in a potato clock to school and they think it's a bomb. Like the cop's gonna pull me over and think, oh god, it's a white guy podcasting on the road. What's this guy into? And then they're gonna pull their gun on me. Just like the Indian kid. I'm just as impressed as an Indian kid bringing in a potato clock. I have been driving a lot lately, and I've been honked at like 4 times in the past 2 days. I'm not a bad driver. Something's happening where these big trucks see my little Honda Civic, and I think, yeah, we can fuck with this guy. We can give him what's up. And just at stop signs, when I don't have the right of way, I'm just honked at because they're trying to tell me to go. And all I want to do in my desperate attempt to regain my masculinity in that moment is I just want to follow that guy home and just show up to his house and see what happens. Because if this guy has a truck, he might be a family man. I mean, to own a truck in these days, you gotta have a little bit of money. I'm assuming this guy has a family. So the only thing I can really do is follow him home. Hopefully his kid is playing out in the open, and he either tries to attack me and he fails or wins. And in both scenarios, it's good for me. If he fails, his son sees him as the biggest pussy in all of the world. He just loses in front to a 24-year-old podcaster and comedian. And his kid just in the kiddie pool just watching me beat up his dad, which I would never throw hands first. It's got to be on him. So that's also where his kid is just going to see him throw hands at some 24-year-old twink. He's gonna think, yeah, my dad's just a brutal man. He's never gonna look at his dad the same. He's either gonna be scared of his dad or he's gonna feel sorry for him for the rest of his life. And I just want that man to feel bad for the rest of his life for honking at me once in traffic. God, nothing pisses me off more than a guy honking at me when it's unwarranted. I don't know. I just can't handle it. I feel like I need revenge in those moments. Just because it's like, what the fuck are you doing? You know? I don't know. I feel like I had more on that. It's very nerve-wracking when you're getting into this flow of things on a solo podcast in the car, getting coffee. Yeah. I feel like I'm in the moral high ground in those moments, and that I could follow him home and it wouldn't be no one would even think, that Liam guy is a bad guy for following that guy home and threatening him. I just want to be in a moral situation where I'm in the high ground and I can just do whatever I want. That's I don't even know where I'm driving, by the way. We're just going anywhere and everywhere, figuring this out as we go. It always has been a funny idea, I don't know, with friends. I mean, I just podcast with Michael and Brandon on a couch or chairs or whatever. It is always better to talk to people in the car when you're in a confined space and they have nowhere to run to. I feel like this is always the most intimate time you can be with friends, isn't it, on a road trip, where you can, on the way there is when you can really talk. You're talking, you're excited, you're getting to know each other. If you're longer-term friends, you can just have moments of silence followed by like spurts of creativity. But oh fuck, we're at a stop sign. This guy's looking at me. All right. I'm putting the microphone down every red light because this is brutal. I don't know how people, like, how do actors do this? Where there's, like, have TMZ out. I don't know. Car rides are the most intimate. Just, like, with friends especially. I don't know, it feels like a safe haven. You can coerce your friend to say bad words. It's just like I have had moments of, like, manic episodes where I drive friends places, and then I think, what if they left a recording device in the car to hear what I say about them after the fact? I never talk shit about my friends like that, but what if they put in a recording device, and now they're just listening to my everything I say and do in the car? All the times that I pee in a bottle on the car, just driving around, I think, oh, God, I gotta piss, but I'm too far away from any bathroom. I don't want to go to a gas station. Let me just pee in this bottle I keep in my car. They're gonna have that moment recorded for all eternity because they're out to get they're as paranoid as I am, and they leave a recording device in my car. Oh shit, there's a bunch of guys on the side of the road. One second. Shit, it looks like they had a memorial on the side of the road there. Whew, that's a weird place for a guy to wreck and die. I've seen so many crosses on the side of the road where people have died, like right there, but I've never seen people actually putting the cross out there. I think I just witnessed it, which is very funny to think that that's his funeral service, is they just go to his place that he died and are like, yep, he's here. We're burying him here forever. We're just going to keep him right here, right where he wanted to be. He's the one that pulled the steering wheel. Let's just keep him right on the side of the road. What's his favorite snack? Let's put some Welch's fruit snacks on the side of the road right where he died. That always cracks me up. If I die on the side of the road, actually, I might die doing this podcast. So if I die and this is a recorded moment, first off, put it up. I can't miss a week, so even the week I die, I want you to put out this podcast. This is my Walter White Breaking Bad moment, you know, when he, like, has the videotape out, and he's recording his last message for his friends and family because he's about to kill himself after the police find him. This is my moment. I'm podcasting while driving. This is my final farewell. Rachel, my girlfriend, you get nothing. All the money is to be divvied up between different charities. Ones that I don't really actually care about. Just give some money to, like, the gun committee. I don't know. Give some to AIDS victims in Africa. Just, like, stuff that I never actually talked about in real life. Like, it didn't seem that I had a vested interest in. Just give my money to those guys, not my girlfriend, who will now need double the rent money because I'm gone. Don't give her any of it. Just anybody else. What else? What else is in my video will Breaking Bad style? My name's Liam Salvage, and I live at Arroyo Vista Lane. I forget what it is. It's been a while since I've seen Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad also kind of blue balls you if you think about it. Breaking Bad had, on the first episode, it showed titties on a channel that typically doesn't. What was it on, like, AMC? Not AMC. Yeah, it might be AMC. Same as Walking Dead. But they show titties in the first episode of Breaking Bad, and then they just never show titties again. And I'm like, you just kind of, like, roped us in with titties on the first episode, and now you're not going to show us titties anymore? What's going on here? I expected titties to be throughout the seasons. But yet, all we see is Walter White's bald, penis-like head, not any more titties. I don't know, we don't even see the prostitutes' titties. You know, the methed out girl in those hotels? We don't even see hers. I at least want a little bit of something. You can't, what I'm saying is, you can't tease us with titties in the first episode, just never show titties again. That'd be like, what's a very naked show? Euphoria, I guess. They show a lot of titties there. It's like if they showed titty in the first minute of Euphoria and just never did it again. Except, they kept up with it. They kept on showing titties throughout the entire series. Which I'm not a fan of Euphoria. I've never seen it, but I do know they're in high school. All right, we're back. This is dangerous to podcast while driving. Back to Euphoria. I'm not a fan of it because I know they're in high school and you're showing naked teenagers, essentially. I'm not a fan of that mentality of just like, yeah, but they're actually 23-year-old actors. Not a fan of that. Go back to, I want Breaking Bad to have titties, because I know they're of age and they're just meth heads. My girlfriend watches a lot of titty TV shows. I don't mind titties on a TV show, and I don't mind male ass. I like the point in time, like the early 2000s, where they just showed a lot of male ass on TV and movies. I was a fan of that, because it's like, on the other side of that's a penis. You're giving us just enough to just imagine. What does his penis look like? Well, we can't see the tip of his head between his legs, so he must not have a gigantic penis. But now we don't know if he has a small to medium size. That's the part I want to know. We have to figure out by the back of his ass what size penis he is, and you can only, like in what was that, White Lotus, where the guy had a big hanger that showed underneath his leg. That, you know, he has a gigantic penis because of how. Because of his ass shot, you could see his penis through his ass. But you can't, now they're showing full frontal sometimes. Not enough, I'm going to be honest. It's either not enough full frontal or not enough ass. I want to see ass so I can, in my mind's eye, I can guess as to how big his penis is. Also, I just cut off a Jeep Wrangler going uphill where the speed limit's 45. I'm sure he's not too happy. But little does he know, I'm creating art in here. Just me, a white guy, driving with a microphone, hot as hell because the air conditioning ruins the audio. You can already hear the road noise, so I don't want to add air conditioning. I'm going to be so hot after this. I luckily do have shorts on, so I might be able to just pop those bad boys off, get a little ball flowing, have my balls out so any trucker driving by can see. You guys ever do that? Where you like, you're just driving down the highway and you have your balls out, and just like out the side of your shorts, and then you think, oh god, so many truckers have seen my nuts because I'm just free hanging out here. So many truck drivers have seen my nuts that I don't want to see them just because I was just rubbing my tip while driving. Just unconsciously rubbing my tip while driving. Now so many truckers have whack off material whenever they get to their next lot lizard. That's what I'm thinking. I have been honked at a lot, so now if any guy honks at me while I'm on the podcast, it would be fun to show him nuts, show him the microphone, say, hey, you're on a podcast, buddy. I got you recorded right now. You're going to jail. And then just fucking show nut and run away. Thinking back, I don't even need to follow that guy to his house. I can just show nut and then, we're at a stop sign. Wait a second. I usually tell jokes until my buddy stops laughing, and then I know I took it too far and it's not funny anymore. But now, with just me in the car, I'm going to be talking about Breaking Bad tits 24/7, and you guys are never going to be able to tell me to stop. That's the thing with solo podcasting. People, when you do this too long with people that actually have weekly solo podcasts, you just start telling your ideas that you have. I don't want to do that. I just want to stay funny. You don't want to hear what I have to say about the upcoming election and Joe Biden no longer running and shit like that. You want to hear me talk about tits on Breaking Bad episode 1 and how they never show it again, and how really it's affecting the mental health of dudes across America when they think, oh, my potential favorite TV show is showing tits on episode 1, and then it never shows it again. That's why we got school shooters, showing tits and never showing them again. Ah, shit. I feel like now I'm getting paranoid doing this podcast. I feel like cars are following me. I feel like I have to drive to the nearest police station and podcast from there. It's too dangerous out here being a white guy podcasting anymore, guys. I've got Hyundai Elantras following me, and I don't know if they want to be on the podcast or what. By the way, shout out Anthony. He's a listener of the podcast, and thank you for riding along. I was told that you're a fan of the show. Make sure to write in. It's showerpartypod@gmail.com. If you email in, we'll read out your note like Mr. Rogers at the end of his episode. We'll make sure to feed a goldfish, tie our shoes, and audibly say it for the deaf kid that watches that wrote in a letter one time. Backstory on that, Mr. Rogers had a blind kid write in saying, hey, I don't know when you're feeding your fish. If you could, say it out loud so that I know that the fish is A-okay and all that. Which is very funny to think that the blind kid just thought there was a blind fish on PBS and they were just okay with that. Like, he wasn't audibly saying, I'm feeding the fish right now. So the blind kid just thought, oh, that fish is 100% dead. Like, there's no bringing him back. That Mr. Rogers killed that fish and he never fed him. In that kid's mind, Mr. Rogers was just like a dead dog in the corner, a dead goldfish. He was just living in a hoarder house and they weren't doing anything about it. Mr. Rogers is just a bad guy. That's how blind TV shows should be. It just describes the room, and that's how you get character development of saying, yeah, he's got unfolded T-shirts in the back right corner, so you might know he's a little eccentric. You might not know he's a good guy off the bat because of his unfolded shirts. Oh, there's also a gun on the table, so he might be doing up some nefarious activities. Maybe that is old school radio. That's what we should bring. Fuck this podcasting bullshit. We need to bring back old school radio with sound effects and all that. The awoogas and all that. That'd be fun. Soap operas on radio. We need to bring back those good old days. They do have radio stations dedicated to blind people. It's like a book club. If you tune in, they read out loud books so that you can, I guess, listen to a Moby Dick or whatever, which probably is going down the drain like all other radio stations, not because of no listeners, but because there's audiobooks now. You can get the author reading the book, not some guy on radio that's been stuck in the studio for 8 hours just reading the book. God, it is hot. Oh, there's a Mexican guy selling fruit on the side of the road. Hell yeah. I love those guys. I love the ingenuity, and it's also a fun racist thing you can do with your Mexican friends. You can say, hey, I know you're unemployed, but think of this. You can always sell fruit on the side of the road. You can always just go to Costco and get some cherries and just sell them on the side of the road for 2 times the price. I did watch The Matrix 1, 2, and 3. I didn't watch the 2021 version because I'm still perplexed by 1, 2, and 3. The Matrix is overhyped and not good. The Matrix is not a good movie, trilogy, whatever you want to call it. The Matrix is dog shit. Every piece of dialogue you could possibly have is the most dramatic thing you could say in that moment. It's like if I went through my daily life constantly telling people I wanted to kill myself, but never did. That's the equivalent. If I went through my daily life telling my girlfriend, I love you, and I would kill myself if I didn't have you. Every piece of dialogue is like, no, you can't do that, not alone, I'm coming with you. Just given in that delivery. I've honestly never seen Keanu Reeves not act the same way he's done in The Matrix, which is fine. I mean, John Wick is a good series. It's just the delivery is just the most dramatic piece of, and you could tell it was written by women. You know, like it is soap operas and like Supernatural, that TV show, and like the Gilmore Girls all combined into 3 movies that are facaded to be for boys, but it's really deep down it's just for girls. The Wachowski brothers are the people that wrote the movies, and they did both transition to females, so that's now the Wachowski sisters, or Wachowski, whatever you want to call them. You can tell trans is not an option, it's a necessity for those guys. I know that it's not a choice, because they wrote 3 movies that was just all girl dialogue through and through. It is the most girl brain with 3 movies you could possibly see ever. Just the most dramatic piece, like even the sex scene in, what was it, the second or third movie, is the most sensual, dramatic sex scene possible. Like, you don't see penetration, you don't see tit, you don't see anything. You just see them lovingly embracing while sweaty as hell. And, of course, the man's on top. If a girl's going to be writing this, the man's on top doing all the work. It's not like they switch positions. It's consistently missionary where he's doing way too much. The Matrix is just girl movies. It's Twilight, but for boys, but subconsciously for women. They came out, I think they had an interview after the fact saying, like, The Matrix could be about being, like, transgender. And I think The Matrix might have been to convert young men across America of being like, this is the most sick movie ever. I am in The Matrix. I am a woman now. I don't know if that part's staying in. I thought it was funny. I don't mean it realistically. It was a very funny thought that I had about The Matrix. I look at houses now as I've been getting older. I just look at houses being like, yeah, I want to do that to my house when I can afford one. knowing full well I may never afford an actual house unless this economy collapses. I just look around thinking like, ooh, I like the landscaping on that one. Maybe I should knock on their door and ask how they do it. Or I look on Zillow at houses that I could possibly eventually afford, and I'm like, yeah, I want to do the ceiling that way. I like this layout of this 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Oh, there's a good backyard, and there's also space for renovations to put additions onto the house. That's the mindset of a 24-year-old male that doesn't know what the future has in store. Just looking on Zillow, hoping one day you can have children and a house. That wasn't funny either. That might be cut out. That was just too real. I don't know how many I might have blown through like 100 stop signs by now, and just not know. I may have also gotten the cops called on me because they think I'm podcasting while driving, and that's a no-go in the country of America. Our rights are be taken away, fellas. No longer are the days you can walk around with a microphone being all fun. If I do get pulled over, I am going to ask the police officer to please join me in the rest of the podcast, because I need someone to bounce these jokes off of. And then I'm going to reach for his gun and say, I'm just joking. It's a goof for the podcast. I'm drinking and driving. I'm just joking. I'm not drinking and driving. I'm just goofing around for the podcast. You got the dog in the back of your car? Can I play with your dog? There should be more. If you get in a car accident, they should bring out the K9 unit so you can just pet a dog until the ambulance comes. Your final moments looking dead in the eye, a racist golden retriever. That is my final moments I want to live in, looking in the eyes of a golden retriever trained to attack black people. Just petting that good boy. Think about racist dogs. People like joking about racist dogs. A dog can't help it if he is racist. He was been trained to be racist, which is very funny to just train the dog to be racist. I wonder if you could train one to like pick out different ethnicity. Like, you know how this is gonna sound rough, but you know how like sometimes you can't tell if a guy's mixed or if he's like they look like Italian, so you can't tell. It would be funny if you teach a dog like medically, like a service dog, to sniff out what ethnicity people are. Like he does different barks. He barks once if it's white, twice black, 3 times Asian. That'd be very funny to teach a dog to do that. Fuck, a 15-year-old just like looks dead-eyed me at that red light. She just looked into my soul of being like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing, buddy? You can't be doing this. And we're back. This episode is brought to you by Tesla. Want a podcast while driving around? Get a self-driving Tesla so you don't look like a lunatic. This episode is also brought to you by Liquid IV. Caught podcasting in a hot car and don't want to turn the air conditioning on? Well, you need to refuel with some Liquid IV. Dump your balls in some Liquid IV and feel rejuvenated in less than 24 hours. Liquid IV is a national sponsor of the Shower Party podcast. Drink responsibly. Oh, that is my life goal, is to have just one ad read just so I could fuck it so hard that they never want to give me money again. I just want one ad read where I pretend I'm going to shill out for some company, and then in the end I'm just bad-mouthing Blue Chew. I'm like, yeah, I took Blue Chew, I had an erection, but I never felt the same, and my self-esteem is now lower than ever. I can no longer get a boner without Blue Chew. I never have the confidence, so now I have to take a Blue Chew every time that I want to have sex or even jerk off. Just because it reduced my confidence and self-esteem so low, I don't think I can get a boner as hard as that ever again. I'm chasing the dragon of a hard cock. And now I'm addicted to Blue Chew. This episode brought to you by Blue Chew. Do you want a hard cock and you want to be dependent on it for the rest of your life? Start now at the age of 20 just by going online and giving a doctor's visit, a fake online doctor's visit that you say you gave, but really you were just online and just submitted that your penis doesn't work. You lied about that. Now you're dependent on it to get the hardest cock imaginable. Now you can't have sex without it ever again. This is the most embarrassing thing I think I've ever done in my life. This is going to be something that I lie in bed 10 years from now thinking, dear God, I fucking solo podcast in a Honda Civic driving around the richest part of California? What the fuck was I up to? I'm going to think about that 15-year-old staring me in the eyes, just judging me, being sweaty as hell, talking into a microphone while driving. This is going to be on my deathbed, I'm going to think back to this moment and think, whoa, I wasted my life. This has always been my dream. I always thought it'd be cool to have like a makeshift radio station where every morning on your commute to work, you just pop open a microphone, and just 30 minutes every morning on your commute, you just talk about random bullshit. And then on your way home, you do the same. So it's like an hour a day of just AM radio. Take callers. Like, you can have your mom call in. Usually, like, I call my mom on the way home from work. So I just call her, and I'm like, hey, mother. Hello, mommy. You're on the show. What has got you aggravated today? What's in the news? And then she's like, Liam, you need to stop this. You're ruining our family by broadcasting all of our conversations on your ride home. And I'm like, ooh, that's a tough break. Next caller. Father, how are you? Daddy-o, what's going on today? We got a regular here today. And he's also crying. It's the first time I ever see my father cry. And it's on the radio show that I do in my car every day to nobody. Oh, I think there's an Instagram girl taking a photo. She just took off her shirt. She was in a bra. Just in traffic. Like, it looks like she was posing for cars to be coming at her with only a bra and white Daisy Dukes on. That's fun. That's something I want to do in life. I want to have the confidence of that. I am being as confident as that girl right now. Podcast. Her photo for Instagram is going to be me driving around a bend, microphone in hand, and her posing with duck lips. And it's just going to be me in the background talking about cum and jizz and Breaking Bad tits in the background while she gets her photo for Instagram. What's going to be even worse is I don't know where I am, so I'm probably going to have like a 30-minute drive home after this. And I'm just going to be thinking for the whole way, like, fuck. Oh, there's a guy doing van life right there. There's so many fucking van life. There's a guy doing van life outside of my apartment complex. And I think, God damn, I pay so much money to live in this place, but I could just live in a van outside and still use the amenities. I can still use the shitty gym that's in the apartment and just live outside in a van and just save, I guess, just have the van payment. I do hate, I can imagine how bad I would smell if I lived in a van, though. I've been chafing like a motherfucker recently. I don't know if I've gotten fatter or my balls have gotten bigger. Hopefully it's the latter. I've been chafing like a fat man. I think I need to start investing in Astroglide. I have tiny legs from mid-thigh down. It just looks like chicken legs. But mid-thigh up, I have fucking thunder thighs, dude. And I'm chafing like a fat man. I have fat man upper thighs. And they just chafe. I need to get some Astroglide or some baby powder. Maybe some of that talcum powder that's known to cause, like, vagina cancer in women. Maybe I'll get some of that. Maybe it'll be the most masculine as I could be while applying Astroglide and baby powder and shit, as I can just get the vagina cancer-causing chemical and put that on my taint every day. What's it going to do to me? I'm just going to rub it in the face of feminists that I don't have a vagina and I can use talcum powder. That's going to be my main goal, is just getting HPV, because it does nothing in boys, but women can get, ovarian cancer and shit like that. Just rub it in the face of all those feminists. All the women that make less money than me, I can just rub it in their face by using the shit they can't use. This will show the feminists they can't drive while talking. They can't do two things at once. We'll try to get a woman to chew bubblegum and walk at the same time. Hard to do, fellas. It's hard to get a woman to do two things at once, like get ready and also leave, and also have the ability to get there on time. You can only multitask as a woman once you become a mom, then you become a superhero. That is how they do it. That's like the equivalent of Clark Kent going into a telephone booth to change into the Superman clothes. It's just you become a mom and you're like instantly, oh shit, I gotta make lunch and do my makeup at the same time. That's when your superpower activates, is when you become a mom. Your estrogen becomes too powerful, and all those babies that popped out are your vat of acid that you got dipped in to become a superhero. Kryptonite, however, is dad not paying child support money. If that happens, you get pretty single-minded again on how deadbeat dad. which it is one of the worst things you can do as a dad. One of, not the worst, but one of the worst things you could do as a dad is just not be there for the kid, not pay money. That is their kryptonite, and well deserved. That should be their kryptonite. But it is funny how every solo male podcast turns into talking about women. I do it jokingly. I don't mean it. However, if this goes well, I might eventually... That is the thing. I think all solo male podcasts that are, like, sexist, I think they start off like, Andrew Tate definitely didn't mean all that bullshit first go of it. But then he probably meant it jokingly. And then as it got more and more popular and people took him seriously instead of jokingly, he was probably like, fuck it. I'm just going to be sexist as hell. And I guess also traffic women. But that's... he just leaned into the bit until people didn't know he was joking anymore. And then he's like, fuck it, people think I'm real. I'm just going to keep doing this. And then you get arrested in Romania. That's what happens if you became a solo male podcaster, going a little bit too much for the jokes. Oh, there's a biker. I don't understand dads that become bikers, like bicyclists. That's a weird thing. Like you have a kid, they turn 3 years old, and then all of a sudden you're like, I think I'm going to pick up biking because I don't want to be around my kid, and he doesn't know how to ride a bike yet. I think that's exactly it, is you're like, oh, fuck, he doesn't know how to ride a bike. This is how I can get away from him. Shit, my wife doesn't either. Thank God. I'm not going to get her a recumbent bike. And you're like, this is my escape. I'm going to downhill bike away from my family because he's not yet old enough to have a tricycle. And my wife won't be able to call me because my biking pants are too tight to fit a phone in there. And I want my bulge to be seen by all the single moms outside of their house watching me drive by every day. That's my real dream, is to drive by as a married man, drive by my tight-ass biker shorts, and all the single moms think, ooh, look at that hot piece of ass showing his tiny penis on the bike. Boy, wouldn't I love to see that penis when it isn't the tiniest thing possible on a bicycle. That's the thing. You're never going to find a man that you're attracted to at the gym as a woman. Because as a man, the tiniest my penis will ever be is when I'm working out at the gym. I think people fail to realize that. It's like, that's the tiniest your penis is ever going to be. Your blood's going elsewhere. I have a very efficient penis. If my muscles need blood, my penis is the first to go. All the blood is going to my quads and biceps as I'm working out. So if you're a woman looking for a man in the gym, you need to look elsewhere, buddy, unless you want to see a bunch of tiny penises in gray sweatpants. You don't want to find a man at the gym. Find him at where's my dick the biggest at? That is a good question. Where's my soft penis the biggest at? It might have to be Walmart. I might get a little chubbed up at Walmart, and I don't know why. Maybe it's childhood memories. Maybe I'm getting high off those, of walking into a supercenter and just getting a little chubbed up. That might be where my penis is the largest, is just a Walmart. That's where ladies need to find the men, is the Walmart, because that's where their soft penises are going to be most visible as the biggest, as a perfect rendition of what they're going to be in everyday life. That is probably the average of what that penis is going to be, is at Walmart. The gym is going to be too tiny. Fully erect is going to be too big to get a good gauge on what it is usually. But if you catch them at Walmart, and if they were richer, maybe it's like Target or like fucking Heinen's, or something like that. Depending on how rich of a man you want, you're going to want to go to different grocery stores. But I think a grocery store is definitely where you want to find a man to see what size his penis is. Oh, my penis does probably shrivel up in like a Whole Foods, though. I'm like, ooh, look at these prices. I'm scared. Look at all this organic food that I'm not going to buy. Because one, I think organic is a lie, and two, I can't afford it. So my penis is going to shrivel up because it's scared of these high prices. So I'm the perfect poor person because I love eating as if I'm living in the Great Depression. My girlfriend hates that I eat bologna. My favorite candy is a Crunch Bar because it's quite literally from the Depression. It's just rice and chocolate. You're making it so it's less chocolate and just rice as a filler. I love like fucking ham spreads. Like any lunch meat, you can just add Miracle Whip and like grind it up with an egg. I'm like, hell yeah, let's fucking do that. It's almost expired. Let's get rid of this boy by making a sandwich spread. I looked at a place we're moving here in California, and I was looking at a place to move, and a trailer popped up, and it was the nicest modular trailer I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, I would live here forever. And the rent was more expensive than a modern apartment. And I'm like, fuck, the trailers are supposed to be for poor people. Like, this is supposed to be an affordable family. Like, you had a kid young, like, you only have a GED. This is the place for you where you can rebuild or just settle down. Like, it's a perfect place. Trailer park's not bad. It gets a bad rap. But they're so expensive in California, like, you can't even live here. You're forced to have 3 kids and try to build your life from a studio apartment where each person has 10 square feet. It's very funny how they just upped the price of everything so that, honestly, that it might be the move. Just up the price until all the poor people are homeless and accidentally kill themselves. That's how you keep the prices high and stay rich. You just kill all the poor people by forcing them onto the streets. And then you sprinkle a little meth in their diet and see how it goes for them. Make them begging on the streets with their kids in strollers. See how that goes. See how long they can take that without any drugs, and then sprinkle a little meth in their diet. See how it goes for them then. This has been 50 minutes of the ramblings of a crazy man. I am hot as hell. This probably only end up being like 40 minutes after I edit out me being in traffic stops and being embarrassed talking to a microphone. So this has been an episode of the Shower Party Podcast. If you enjoyed this, it's not usually like this. It's usually with people, and I have someone to bounce some jokes off of. I feel like this actually wasn't that bad. I feel like I was pretty funny, and also just got weird at times, which could be funny if you look at it in that way. Like, look at this weird guy. If you just point and laugh I don't care if you're laughing at me or with me, to be honest. Just as long as you had a good time, that's what I'm here for. So I hope you had a good time listening to episode 111 of the Shower Party Podcast. It'll be better or worse. Who knows? This could be actually pretty good, and you guys might like this. But yeah, this has been Shower Party. Tell a friend on how much fun this was. Anthony, tell your friend. I'm just going to keep on bringing up you are the listener now, Anthony. The guy that I only know as Anthony. It is your time to shine. You have to tell all of your friends about this podcast. And by doing so, you have to tell them that I agree with everything they say, and I don't mean it as a joke. They mean it as a joke. I don't. I like what they're saying. That's what you need to tell them, Anthony. Please tell them that, and tell them, send them a link to this episode, because I think this will be the best representation. Because the thing is, everyone else comes in and out. Michael, Brandon, it's like a revolving door of co-hosts. I'm the only person that stays consistent. So if you send them this, they'll be like, you can tell them, yeah, this is pretty much the gist of it. Usually he has another guy that at least gives some ideas. But this is pretty much the gist, as he's on every episode. And I agree with everything he says, and I don't mean it as a joke. I mean it perfectly clear. That's what you can tell them. Tell a friend. All right, see you guys.